Autoline Daily is brought to you by Dow Automotive Systems, improving durability and increasing design flexibility with Betamate structural adhesives at dowbetamate.com.
Here are today's top headlines. Big changes on the sales front. Ford takes advantage of Toyota's problems. Nissan almost captures the best-selling car in America title. And GM turns in an impressive performance. Up next, we'll be back with the news behind the headlines. This is Autoline Daily for Wednesday, February 3, 2010, and now the news. And there is a lot of big news on the sales front today. With all of Toyota's problems, there's been a lot of jockeying for position. The big winners by company start with Ford, which was up nearly 37%, and Nissan, which was up nearly 26%. Hyundai, the brand, was up strong too, nearly 35%, but Kia was not up that much. In other words, Hyundai benefited from Toyota's problems, but Hyundai Kia did not. By the way, all of our sales figures come from Wards, which reports on a daily selling rate basis, which is a more granular way to report the numbers. Last month, there were 2 fewer selling days than a year ago, and that's why it's more accurate to report the numbers on a daily selling rate basis. The best-selling car last month was the Honda Accord, which sold 19,000 units, but hot on its heels was the Nissan Altima. In fact, the Altima came within a whisker of knocking the Accord off as the best-selling car in America. Next on the list was the Toyota Corolla Matrix, which came in at 17,000 units, but Toyota's kind of cheating here. It combines sales of the Corolla and the Matrix, whereas both cars would fall far down the list if sales were broken out separately. And then looky here, next up is the Chevy Malibu, which has started to come on strong. It even outsold the Toyota Camry, and also the big news here is that the Chevy Malibu easily outsold the Ford Fusion. The best-selling truck last month was the Ford F-Series, no surprise there. It was followed by the Chevrolet Silverado, again, no surprise. But the third best-selling truck last month was the Ford Escape, and that represents a big shift in the market. The Escape outsold the Dodge Ram and even the Honda CR-V, which had been the best-selling crossover up till now. And the Chevy Equinox came within a whisker of outselling the CR-V. No doubt about it, Chevrolet is starting to come on strong. In fact, GM sales numbers to me are the most impressive for the month. GM picked up market share despite dumping 4 brands. The big highlights at GM include a 56% sales increase at Buick and a 48% increase at Chevrolet. You could even see Chevy's strengths in the numbers for pony cars. Even though the Mustang had a very good month with sales up almost 75%, the Chevy Camaro easily outsold the Mustang. The Dodge Challenger really comes up short with only 1,700 units sold, down 34%. And hey, is the Hyundai Genesis Coupe eating into pony car sales? Hard to tell, but it sure doesn't look like it. Hyundai combines sales of both the Genesis Coupe and sedan together, even though they're completely different cars. And even so, combined sales of the Genesis were only 1,700 units. Audi was the big winner in the luxury car segment with sales up nearly 50%. Mercedes-Benz had a good month with sales up by nearly a third, and BMW was up 17%. Cadillac sales were up modestly, but Cadillac owes everything to the new SRX. Every other vehicle Cadillac sells saw sales drop by double digits. Hybrids are selling okay, I guess, but they're not picking up any market share. Total hybrid sales came to less than 2.5% of the American market last month, and it could go down from here. The American and Japanese governments just announced today they are looking into a potential recall of the Prius regarding its brakes. All in all, it was not a great month, but wasn't a bad one either. Total sales hit 695,707 units, which translates into an annualized rate of 10.76 million units. That puts us on track to see sales increase by 1.1 million units compared to a year ago, and that's a little more than 4 assembly plants worth of production. Now the race is on to see who gets to fill their plants. Coming up next, it's time for You Said It. And now it's time for some of your feedback. A lot of you responded to our report that Japanese media are reporting that the American media's coverage of Toyota is nothing more than Japan bashing. Tom Martin wrote in to say, how can Japan scream that the U.S. is protectionist? Look at Japan's protectionist policies and taxation against U.S. cars. G.A. Brannigan picked up on the same theme. Look at the Japanese whining about our media, he writes in to say, take it like a man, Toyota. They are just starting. And he's right, our media's just getting going. Alex Kovnat also had this to say regarding Japan bashing. Come on! I remember when Ford was heavily attacked in the news media when reports began surfacing of people being immolated in gasoline fires when early versions of the Pinto were hit from behind. Was that necessarily America bashing or Ford bashing? I would say that the Japanese media really doesn't know how to react to recalls like this. They've never seen anything like it before, and they're automatically assuming that this is just Japan bashing. All I can say is, guys, now you know what the big three have been going through for the last 30 years. Hey, don't forget to join us tomorrow night for Autoline After Hours when our special guest is going to be the director of Ford Racing, Jamie Allison. That's tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Eastern. And that is it for today's top news in the global automotive industry. Thanks for watching. We'll see you tomorrow.